Hi, this is Thomas Doig, and in this video tutorial series I'll show you the way I approach modeling a Lego man. Please be aware that this is one of many ways to model, and there really isn't a right way in my opinion to model anything. It all depends on what the model will be used for, and of course best practices such as mesh topology, etc. Another thing to mention is that this is my very first guided video tutorial, and no doubt there will be mistakes and plenty of room for improvement. So I welcome any feedback and thoughts you may have. So let's get started. The first thing I like to do is I like to clean my workspace within Blender. We're going to jump into the front orthographic view and open up this menu on the side. We're going to get some background images. We need to check that box in background images. Then we click add image and scroll down and click open. You need to navigate and find your image. Lego Man Blueprints is what I've got. So you can get that on Google. Just type in Lego Man Blueprints and you should be able to find this one and download it to your local hard drive. Next we need to, this little box over here, this section, we need to drag this. And I'm dragging it to the right, and that'll bring it up so the Lego Man's feet are on the x-axis there, and that's so that it'll basically be standing in the perspective view on this grid floor here. So jump back into front orthographic. The little section beside it, we need to slide it across to the right so it's lined up with the z-axis straight down the middle of the Lego Man. And then we need to change the axis to from all views to back. And this may seem counterintuitive. In fact, it's just gone now. But if we hold the control and press 1, that gives us the back view. And the reason actually is because the way Blender sets up its image planes in the viewports is opposite to other programs. So we are actually looking towards the back, if you can get your head around that. So our view is from the front looking towards the back, so therefore we would be seeing the front of the Lego Man. So now we will go into right orthographic and we'll just minimize this image and we'll add a new image and go to open and get the same blueprints. And now we need to flip this. So click flip H, that flips it horizontal. We need to slide it up. I'm holding the shift key while I slide. That gives you finer control over movements in Blender. And then the same, we need to push it across to the right. And there we go. So this is again, the same principle applies here. So it's right orthographic view, and we can see the left side of the Lego Man because we're actually looking towards the right. So I hope that makes sense. Alright, now let's jump into top view, top orthographic view. Before we do that, sorry, my apologies, we need to turn this to right, the axis to the right orthographic view. So now when we press 3 on our numpad, it shows, and we press Control 1, shows the back view of, it goes into back orthographic view but shows the front of the Lego Man. So we jump into top view, that's 7 on the numpad, and then I'll Shift A and create a cylinder. This cylinder will change the cap fill type to triangle fan, and we'll jump back into front or back orthographic view rather. Go into wireframe mode and we'll bring this up, constrain it along the z-axis there. We're going to uniformly scale it down just to the width of the head, and then we're going to scale it along the z-axis to get the top and bottom of the head there. We'll go into edit mode and Control R will give us some edge loops, and I'll just put in 2 for now. S and Z to scale them away from each other along the Z axis. We want to bring it to about here because we can see this is where the flat edge starts to round. Change into vertex mode, select the top row and the bottom row, and uniformly select these, not x-axis, don't constrain it to the x-axis. We'll just pull it out. Actually, we're probably going to get 4. Well, we'll do it like this first. Okay, we'll add another edge loop in here and here. And we will pull these up. So S, Z to scale them away. And then grab the top row, grab the bottom row again. We scale it into here and then scale it up to there. Add another edge loop in, edge loop here, and now we can grab these rows because they're sticking out a little bit too far. Scale it along the Z and then scale it in, scale along the Z again, just so it's kind of evenly spaced. Actually, another way you can do it once you've got them in kind of in the right position is you can double G will also slide along the edge, and I'll show you that soon. Okay, jump into the side view. We need to deselect, go into object mode and just slide it across so it matches up. I might actually uniformly scale this whole thing holding the shift key because we only want to do it very slightly, and then scale the whole head down a little bit along the Z axis and just bring it down to there. Alright, so now we need to inset these faces. So we want to alt click and then shift click on that center vertex, then press I to inset the faces, bring it in, jump into the orthographic back view, and we want to keep an eye on these vertexes over here. S to scale it in until it gets to the side of the little knob on the top of the head there. I can't think of a better word for that. E to extrude and then pull it up along the Z axis up to here, and then again E to extrude, pull it up to here, and then uniformly scale that in, and then add an edge loop in there, right click to deselect so it stays in the middle, and then S to uniformly scale it out. And have a quick look in the side view. Yep, Control 1 to get back into back view. Now underneath, the same thing again. This is for the neck. I to inset those faces, and that wasn't a very good inset, but I can bring it in again with the S key and Control 1, keeping an eye on these vertices on the outer edge. Bring them right out to the neck, and then E to extrude down, and there's our basic head. Now we're going to use a modifier called subdivision surface that smooths everything out for us, but it also smooths these little creases, these corner bits. So we need to go and add edge loops in there to hold our shape. So add one here and bring it down. Add another one in here, bring it up as close as we can to the edges. Also, I might add, we need to change this to 3. That'll give us a nice smooth shape. We want on that top little knobby section, we want to add an edge loop. We'll bring that down as close as we can, bring it back just a little bit, and the same up here. Bring it in. So I'm Control R to create the edge loop, remember, and then click and then drag to slide it. We're getting some rounding here, so we probably want to add 2 in here, and then we'll scale them along the Z-axis and pull them up, and that should do it. So there's our Lego Man head. These edges here look a little bit sharp, so what we can do is just pull them down a little bit, because it's not quite that sharp, and that looks about right. Now next we're going to create the torso here, and this will be as simple as deselecting the head and Shift A to create a box or a cube. Going to wireframe mode is always helpful, and we will start to scale into vertex mode there. We'll scale these out along the x-axis. I'll bring them down to here, scale them out again. We're not going to worry about this little lip that comes out there. We'll just keep it simple for now. Oops, I just pressed the wrong key. B to marquee select at the top, and then S and scale along the x-axis again. Right, pull them down to here. We actually need to go into object mode and just slide this across because it's slightly off. Don't always assume it's going to be perfect. Then in fact you'll see with the blueprints sometimes they don't align perfectly, and you just have to use your best guess and your skills to basically fill in any little gaps and problems. And we are working in 3D, so always be sure to go back and check in perspective and see how it all looks. Right, so we need to scale along the Y in the right view. Scale again. And up the top we will grab these. Yeah, so we'll grab the faces and we will pull it up, maybe twice. And again, jump back into the front view. Grab the top 2 rows, S and X to scale along the x-axis. A to deselect, B to select these again. And then we'll pull them down. Okay. Next I'll add a subdivision surface. As expected, because we don't have all the edges supporting the shape, it's going to start rounding it out. We'll crank up our views to 3 under subdivisions there over here. And then we will add our edge loops. So these need to be along the x-axis. And these ones need to be along the y-axis. Right, down the bottom, we need to pull one all the way down. Okay, it does help if you have a little Lego Man figurine with you at home as well. You can rotate him around and look at him in 3D, which I've got here. So the top is more rounded when we're looking from the front and the back, and then all the other edges are they're not perfectly sharp, but they're sharper than this top edge. So I might just bring these edge loops back a little bit, or in a little bit towards each other. It'll be easier to go into edge select mode. Okay, S and Y, bring them in a little bit. Okay, so So we'll just check it against our blueprints. That looks good. It's a bit sharp here, according to the blueprints anyway. So what we can do is we can press this little icon here, this eye symbol, turn that off if it's getting in the way, all those details. And we can go into vertex mode. We're going to grab the top two rows, scale them along the Y, and then again the top row, scale along the Y. Might pull out that bottom just a tad. Alright, that looks pretty good. So this is the end of part 1, and in the second part of the video tutorial series we're going to be doing the arms and the hands. So thank you for watching this, and I'll see you soon. Bye.